Utie oha echi ponkno. Needs FM.
What difference would the NDC make with its economic policies if you were to be given the opportunity to come back to power?
Oh, first of all, once we have learned some lessons and
Lessons like?
lessons like, for example, explaining the essence of some of the things and policies that we are implementing, better and more, to the people for them to see it and being able to counter some of the things that are said which do not reflect what the policy intention is. I think there are many things we are doing which would continue.
Because if you continue,
yes, and let me cite the use of oil, revenues. Yeah, once in a while, Pierre will point to some, school that was started with oil revenue and not completed and whatever, and that is also because the ABFE, which is a budget component of the oil revenue, has become the capital budget to a large extent. And so it is tied to, let's say, road ministry processes because you are not going to create parallel, institutions, for development of schools, development of roads and other things which is applied to. But it requires more focus because one lesson is that, yes, Ghanaians want to know what is happening to their oil revenue. And they want to see. In fact, that's one of the motivations for creating the infrastructure fund. Because in as much as you are spending the oil revenue on, let's say, 100 projects, people don't see the visibility of it. And they have a point. They want to see this oil revenue ring fence to create substantive development projects.
Okay.
And so by creating the infrastructure fund and saying,
Is it possible?
Oh yeah, we did it. It's possible.
You were able to ring fence
the
oil fund?
Yes. And as I said, part of the investment was using to underwrite the Terminal 3. Infrastructure fund had shares in the Terminal 3.
So you can link the oil revenue to the building of the Terminal 3?
That's the Dubai model. No, not completely. I'm saying it's the beginning, right? I think it had about 15% or so. You don't start infrastructure fund and all of a sudden there's 100% of projects. No, you start, and then as the oil revenue comes, you apply it to commercial projects, and then the commercial project itself pays for the loan, no longer the taxpayer.
Okay.
And then it increases the fund. And that's the approach in Dubai.
And now we are told that.
I'm saying that is the approach Dubai and others are doing. Yes.
So we should be able to replicate it.
It's a Dubai sovereign wealth fund, which creates most of the infrastructure in many countries. Singapore, is their sovereign wealth fund.
And now we cannot even pay for monies that the monthly outgoings we have to pay. But that is why we are bringing in the Turkish.
Let me put it. President Mama put it in two compartments. Right. Let me re-emphasize what he said. As far as, or to the extent that the airport is closed, flights are not coming in. That loan was being paid from the airport tax. What we did was we ring-fence the airport tax.
Go into that.
Remember, he said the 60% that used to go to government was added to the 40% that airport company was keeping, and then we ring-fence it.
So the 100%.
And we use it. So for the first time, we didn't issue a sovereign bond to increase our debt because the money was going to Bank of Ghana and it was being converted because airport tax is also in forex. It was being used to service the debt. And that's the idea behind, the whole of the Terminal 3 idea, right? And then the infrastructure fund, which is also oil revenue and it's also in dollars, would also complement. So with time, you are building these funds, So first point he made was, to the extent that the problem of loan repayments and things are not the result of apart from the capping and things that were being done, there is a natural element to it, which was not foreseen. He's saying that the contract is providing for renegotiations, providing for force majeure. And therefore, you can invoke these things just as Heathrow is doing, Frankfurt and others are doing, So you follow that line, right? And don't panic into all of a sudden saying it's not bringing money and therefore you want to, give it out to somebody to run. After all, airlines are not going to Turkey, right? Yeah, so, what is the difference? That's the first point, which he made. And then he made a second point, about approaching the financiers themselves, therefore, to do a renegotiation.
Yeah.
Right.
In the light of the challenges
yes,
they are facing.
Yes, and he called for, the fund itself, the flows, because what happened was that the airport tax, which was servicing the debt, was capped. And the money used for other purposes, just as DACF, Get Fund, and others were capped, right? In the case of Get Fund, it was used to take a loan. So he was talking for the reversals of those things. So the thing is, if you ask me, what is it that needs to be done in terms of development, is to go back to the drawing board, right? And then do improve the negotiation so that you can anticipate if similar events should happen. Secondly, we created a stabilization fund. And as I said, I don't want to repeat myself, but we have seen movement from 250 million, Ghana cedis is 250 million US dollars. And if we are so, obviously, a Mahama administration, which has seen the benefits of this, even if it's not been up.
Needs FM.